Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So for this video, I'm going to walk you through how you can migrate your website from your on-prem or data center to Azure. I hope you're excited as I am, so let's get to it. So first thing first, Microsoft have a service called Azure Migrate. So we're going to use this Azure Migrate for the migration of our on-prem website to Azure. So it's quite a simple one. So the approach we're going to take is our on-prem site. Once we move it to Azure, we want to manage it on what we call platform as a service. So that means the fundamental or the foundational services like networking, the operating system, all of them will be managed by Microsoft. That means the Azure framework, they will manage that aspect. We just want to concentrate on managing our own code base. So what we will do is, we'll deploy this into what we call the app service. So before we do that, we will create what we call the app service plan. So the app service plan essentially will actually define the specific resources that we want to host our website on, right? So it will contain things like the compute power, the RAM and stuff like that. All of them we define it under the app service. Right, so let's start this process. So first thing first, we're going to go into the app service plan. So to do that, we just have to simply type in app service, and then we can type app service plan, the whole name. All right, so select it. Once you select the app service plan, then we will define our app service plan here. I got one deployed already, so I'm just going to remove that and then I'll deploy the brand new one. So I'll remove this. So I'll remove it by first of all clicking on the app service plan, and then you can click on delete here. So once this one is deleted, then I'll create a brand new one. So the reason why I'm removing this one is the name I'm going to use is the same size as my website. It's going to be Jollof App Service Plan. So I just want to make sure I still have the same naming. So what I'll do here is just click on create, and then you can then set this up. So in terms of the resource group, I have a resource group called Lab Test. So I'll use that one. And for the naming, I'll name this one as Jollof Service Plan. And for the operating system, I'm going to select Windows because the server is currently hosted on a Windows server on IIS. So I'll select that. For the region, I'll select UK South. So you select a region close to you. All right. And for the pricing plan, I will leave this one as the standard S, and it just tell you what the resource it contains. So this is a 1.75 gig memory and 1 CPU. That's enough for what we're going to do now. If you like to explore more, obviously you can click on it and select different plan. And also you can explore the pricing by clicking on this button, and this will give you more of these app service plan. So you can go all of them. So for production environment, it's always important to select the premium version because that will give you the optimal performance. Right, since this is the test, I'm just going to stick with the standard S1. So select that, and then you can then proceed to review and create. So we have successfully created the app service plan. So what I'll do is this. I currently have a VM deployed on Azure already, so I'm going to use that one as my on-prem server. So to do that, I'm just going to connect to that VM, which I've already connected to it. And this is the website that I'm going to migrate to Azure. So currently I have it pointing to localhost, and as you can see, it's Coffee Jollof Rice. And if you want a nice, delicious jollof rice, then you can order from us. All right, so let's proceed with this. So I'm just going to minimize this momentarily, and then I will then start the process. So what I'm going to do now is that on this web server, I'm going to go to portal.azure.com. All right, so I'm just going to log in here. All right, so I've got two-factor authentication, so I'm just going to quickly verify this. All right, so once you logged in, we're going to now create our Azure Migrate directly from the server. So click on Azure Migrate, and then under the migration goal, click on the drop down, and like I advised or I mentioned earlier, we're going to deploy this on a platform as a service. So we're going to deploy this on web app. Right, if you wanted to deploy it as just a normal server, then you can obviously use this option here. But we want to deploy this on a platform as a service, so we select the web app. And then in here, we can scroll down and click on Create Project. So then we can put our details in. So I'll place this one in the lab test resource group. And for the project name, I'll name it as Jollof. I'll just name it as Jollof Server. All right, for the geographical location, I will select United Kingdom, and then I will create. All right. So once this is created successfully, what we can do is that we can actually migrate by clicking on this, or you can actually use the assessment. It will take you to the same sort of like a place to download. So once you click on that, you can then download the specific assistant. So this is going to download the app service assistant for you to use for your deployment. So once you click on it, let me show you, it will download it, but I've noticed that when you download this, it seems to cause some issues. So rather than downloading this, I have a link here that will take you directly to where you can download this as well. So I'm just going to paste this here. So this will actually, so I just made a mistake with the address. So I'm just going to add So I'll place the URL right in the video description. So it's downloading the app service migration assistant. So essentially it's similar to what you get when you click on this button, right? But I noticed that whenever I click on this, it downloads, the apps runs fine. But then when it gets to the point where you are doing the migration, the screen just blank out. So just to avoid that from happening, this link, you can avoid that from happening. So there is a discussion about this here. Let me just see if I can bring it up on my screen real quick. So there is a discussion about this specific issue on GitHub where the app service migration goes blank and with no errors. So if you scroll down, this is the link that I shared with you. and they said there's going to be a fix for this issue. So once it's fixed, then you can obviously use the link directly in your you can use the link directly from here. But as it stands now, I'm still having a problem, so I'm just going to use the link in the GitHub. Right, so now that we have that one out of the way, let's go into our download folder so we can install this application. So I'm just going to press Ctrl J on my keyboard, bring this download up again, click on the folder object, and then I can run the application. All right, so that application has been run successfully. Now I'll go into my desktop. Let me just click on, here you go. All right, let me just do it again. There you go. So go to your desktop and then click on the app. So this will start the migration wizard. All right, so our website is located in the default web service. So the way you can find this is when you go into your IIS, you can see that it's located in the default web site. Right, if you don't know how to get to this page, it's quite easy. All you have to do is just type in internet, and then you will see your Internet Information Services Manager. So once you click on it, and then you see your instance name under the site, that's where you see the site, and then you can browse directly to your website directly from here. Right, so let's go back to the wizard. So in the wizard, we select that we are migrating from IIS server, and then we select the default web site, and then we can proceed to next, and it's going to access your site just to see if there's any issues with it. Everything passed successfully. There was no warning. There's no errors. So if you want to check what has been assessed, then you can click on this drop down and you can see what has been assessed on your website. Right, so everything went through fine, so we can proceed to click on next. And in here, we're going to log into Azure. So you're going to create a connection from this user to our Azure account. Right, so for us to create that connection, click on copy and open browser. So this will copy the code here into your clipboard, and then it will open up the browser that will allow you to enter the code to establish the connection. So click on next, and then proceed to log into your Azure portal. And now it will ask you if you are to continue to allow this to connect the migration assistant. So yes, so click on continue. And as you can see here, you have signed into your Azure App Service Migration Assistant application on your device. You may now close this window. So we can proceed to close this one down and go back to the migration wizard. So now when you go into migration wizard, we should be able to select our project. But in case you're unable to see your project here, more likely you might be in a different user directory. So to change the user directory, what you have to do is click on this button here, switch user directory, and then you'll be able to select different directory. So I'm going to select the default directory and then click on OK. So now, hopefully, as you can see, I can now see my migration service. All right, so I'm just going to select that, and then I'll click on next. And in here, we can now set up our resources. I'm just going to place this one in the lab test. And then in terms of the destination, I want to make sure I name this one Jollof for my website. So that will be Jollof at azurewebsite.net. But you can then point this one to the normal domain for your site. So I'll keep it as it is. And then in here, I will select existing app service plan. So this is the app service plan I created. So I'll select that one. And that's about it. I do not have any database. So I'll skip the database setup, and then you can proceed to click on migrate. Or if you want to use this project again, then you can probably export the ARM as well. But I'm just going to start the migration. All right. So the migration has been done successfully, and now we can browse directly to our website by clicking on this button here. Right, so as you can see, the website loaded up with no problems. And you can see the address here, jollof@azurewebsite.net. All right, so just going to open this up also outside my server. So if I paste this one outside the server, you can also load it up. So now this website is now hosted on Azure, as you can see. And if you want to check more about this, you can go into the web app section of Azure. So app service here, and you can see that's the website, and you can see it's up and running. All right, so you can click on it to check more information about it. And as you can see, that's the same domain name. You can copy it. You can see the operating system. And if you want to configure the health check, you can configure that as well. So that completes our video for today. So if this video helped you out, and if you have any questions, do well to put them in the comment section below. But I'll post another video just to walk you through how you can set this up also on your normal server on Azure. So if you like to see those videos, do subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.